Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick little demo, and then we're going to talk about it. Alright, as you saw, that was Bladestorm of Uncertainty. I have this bad boy pumped up to the maximum. I'm getting 6 additional Bladestorms for a total of 9 Bladestorms. I can get a stack of 9 Bladestorms. I'm getting that by pairing it with Dahlia's Ashes of the Stars and Awaken Enhance inside of a +1 socket, giving it all of that quality, which results in 9 Bladestorm attacks. Now obviously that's some slow attack speed. I was trying to figure out why the Berserker would be good for this build, and it's the ability to simply weapon swap, Warcry, come back, and now you have enough attack speed to actually benefit from that extra ability to be able to stack Bladestorm of Uncertainty. Now let's go ahead and do a quick read of Bladestorm of Uncertainty. Perform a spinning attack damaging enemies around you and creating a random Bladestorm. The Bladestorm repeatedly damages enemies based on your weapon damage and attack time for a duration. Blood Bladestorms are stationary and cause bleeding, while Sandstorms are moving slowly forward, blinding enemies. So it causes bleeding and blind. Now, I'm using that with this sword here, which inverts elemental resistances, adds a pretty good amount of flat. I have a little bit of elemental convert here. I bought a Watcher's Eye with elemental convert and spell suppress, which goes into my spell suppression at 78% while being lucky. So I should be spell suppress capped. That's going on there. We have one curse on hit set up, which will be right here. Mark on hit support, which is going to be Assassin's Mark. Got an Ancestral War Chief. We got Leap Slam. We got Arrogant support tied to Clarity and Precision. I don't really need the Clarity, but it doesn't really cost much to run it, so I pop it in anyways. Now, I'm still using the Bear Grylls belt. I'm only doing that really for the 20 maximum rage, but the 7% physical damage per 10 rage doesn't hurt that much simply because I'm converting my elemental resistances. I got a 40% convert here, 24 here, and 30 there. So I don't know what that is. It's like, I think I'm doing 1% physical damage or something like that. Yeah, 41 to 85 physical damage. It just worked out that way. Another thing that just worked out, I got this all spec'd out. Most of this I already had. I went and bought one of these. It just happened to have 29 all elemental resistances. And check this out. It just happened. I have 81 resistances across the board. I get to use a Wise Oak. The first time in my entire life, I'm using a Wise Oak. And it works great. The Wise Oak is pairing with the Replica Abyssus. The Replica Abyssus is giving me a lot of elemental damage, melee crit, but I'm also taking 40% increased elemental damage taken. And the Wise Oak is going to help with that because the Wise Oak gives 6% reduced damage taken for each element for which you are uncapped elemental resistance is the lowest, and mine are all paired, so I'm taking 6% reduced damage taken from ailments. Now, Burning Ground still will wreck this build like no tomorrow, so I should get Burning Ground immunity here instead of this Corrupted Blood and Bleed, but I need to level up. That's just, I could lose 15% maximum life here. I can get rid of this whole elemental cluster there. There's just not much I can do to grab that. I don't quite have enough mana to drop this guy. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit, and I want this convert. So I think it's just fine. I think it's just fine. This guy's pretty strong because he's gonna give you a bunch of elemental resistances and 20% increased damage with hits and ailments per freeze, shock, or ignite on an enemy. And I do all three of those, and I have an additional chance to do it here. And then 30% increased elemental damage with attacks and 30% increased elemental damage. This is a very powerful ring. I was going to buy two, but once I bought that and put it on, I saw that my resistances were good enough, as long as nothing reduces them. And, you know, they were all capped at 81, so I can use Wise Oak for the very first time. What else do I want to talk about? Let's go ahead and look at some of the gems. We got the two that I was talking about, Bladestorm of Uncertainty, Awaken Enhance. I'm using Inspiration support because it gives me elemental damage per inspiration charge and critical strike chance, Pulverize, critical damage, and critical strikes. Now that I have a lot of my damage converted, I should put Rage back on. But I'd have to open up POB to see which one's better. Actually, that's a good segue. Let's go ahead and go into POB. I updated it earlier today, so it should just be ready to go. I should just be able to import my build. It's going to take a few minutes to set it up, but I might as well. Gonna end up doing this for the video anyways. Don't use power, don't use that, don't have life tap. I do have onslaught. I am fortified. I have 110 rage. I don't think I will be on consecrated ground. I have crit recently. Enemy is blinded. Enemy is ignited. Enemy is chilled. Enemy is shocked. I'll just do a low number for 15 to not oversell it. Though I do 20 most of the time. But on some bosses I think it's only like 15. We'll see. They are intimidated. I don't know, 10. I don't know if that's going to increase my damage. We'll do Guardian Pinnacle. I am in blood. I am in sand. Now let's go to my skill. Bladestorm of Uncertainty, include in full DPS. And we have 9 of these on a boss. Alright, and then it's cheating a little bit. Let's turn off the Vol Ancestral War Chief. And let's turn off Berserk. So we go from like 10 million DPS. If we pop Berserk and Ancestral Warcry. Biggity bam. Does it increase if you have 2? No. To almost 20 million. That is a lot of damage for my kind of build, right? It's not highly optimized. Now let's take a look. Let's remove Berserk again. Let's take a look at what we got here. Sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. Awaken Enhance. Obviously, everything will do more than that. I put on elemental damage with attacks and remove the count, but I'll leave Enhance on. Let's see if we can get rid of critical strike damage. Critical strike damage. Volatility is higher. Elemental damage with attacks is higher. Awaken elemental damage with attacks and awakened multi-strike. So critical damage is pretty high. Critical strike, yeah, we're not going to do much better than that. This is a very expensive gem. I'm not going to buy that. Pulverize gives me AoE, which is very nice. But let's see how much... No, I don't want any of these. I wanted to see Rage. Okay, Rage reduces it. I can't believe Rage reduces it, but maybe it's the low attack speed. Put Pulverize back on. Okay, I happen to have the right setup. That is the build. Here is my Watcher's Eye. 30% of physical damage converted to lightning, 15% spell suppress. This one has 27% increased effect of onslaught, 19 life gain per bleeding enemy, and that tiny amount of physical damage is probably going to cause bleeding. I think I might have a small chance to bleed. Maybe I don't. And then +5 to maximum rage. Rage in the cage. Now I could reformulate a lot of this and get another cluster jewel, but I don't really have one that I want to use. I have this guy, which gives me blood scent. I get rage from a hit. Fortification I like for the duration, and it's also 20% increased damage, and I just happen to like it. I like getting increased duration. I like the increased effect. And then attack speed, attack damage, global accuracy. That one's just quality of life across the board. That is the build. Let's go ahead. Oh yeah, Best Ignite, 531 damage. Let's go ahead and run some more stuff. We now have the POB. We should have one of these bad boys ready. Hexproof. Yeah, that should be fine. Extra monster has 50% increased accuracy, might be very damaged because I do use Grace and rely on defenses, evasion plus blind for my survivability. Not so much physical damage. And I do weapon swap because I no longer have Cleave of Rage to generate my Cleave of Rage, but mostly I do it for bosses. I'm not even Berserk, and they melt. Let's drop some of this, cast Berserk. Come on, cast Berserk. That is a lot of damage, and I'm just a clown. You get someone who understands Path of Exile better, we're gonna have a good build here. This is gonna be a very strong build. Oh, I hate this guy. I'm gonna Berserk on him. Oh, they're all dead already? They're all dead already? Okay, fine, fine. I'm awesome. You're all dead. None of that is any good. Now where this build shines, like all my builds this league tend to shine, is in the mine. This build is excellent for the mine. It's really good for harvest. It's really good for the mine. It's not so good for Blight. I'm spec'd into Blight. It's not the greatest for Blight, but it works. It's just not as good as Rage Cleave. I really don't like the weapon swap, but I'm getting better at it. I am getting better at it. And the only reason I do it is because I get stunned. Oh, Herald of Ice. I forgot to mention the auras I'm rocking. I got Herald of Ice for some pops, right? Pops are nice. Then I've got Wrath. I just slotted Wrath in for that convert. I'm still leveling it up, so I'm doing less damage with Wrath. But I got Wrath in there. I got Grace, and I got Haste. In my charms, I have 3 +5 rages. 1 where Life Leech is instant. I think I have 2 life regeneration rates. So I get some instant Life Leech, so I don't have to grab that from the Mastery. And then I have Life Leech. I mean, life regeneration rate. So let's do Berserk, and let's just Berserk through this. I was using Purity of Elements to be immune, but I'm just not going to be immune. I don't care about ailment immunity. I'll just go without it. Seems like a good idea. Alright, now let's see how quickly it takes to generate my rage. The good thing about the Bladestorms is they continue to generate rage as I'm walking away. So all my rage generation chances proc while I'm not attacking, which is really nice. Ooh, Burning Ground is going to be rough for me. But you can see all the Bladestorms as I go around. It just covers the whole area with these Bladestorms, and it's really fantastic. Now, for the most part, I don't really pop Berserk because it does put me in a vulnerable spot, but I'm pretty good at weapon swapping right now. See, I said weapon swap, I got my rage back. But it's nice to put on rage because you're pretty tanky with rage on. Rage off, you're not as tanky, but I got some pretty good life regeneration rate. And some of my life regeneration is instant. And by life regeneration, I mean leech. I don't have jack. I have enough life regeneration to where it feels a little awkward to use Volpact, but not enough to where it can stop the degen from maximum rage. Right, we saw that. I'm really bad at fighting bosses, but let's see what kind of bosses we got. We don't got any of those guys. Only boss I think I have to fight is Maven. Do I have any of these guys ready? I'm so bad at Maven fight, but it'll be a good way to demo the damage. So what's gonna happen in this Maven fight is I'm gonna do a bunch of damage, then I'm gonna die because I'm not good at Maven. But I have so much damage, I should be able to clear it pretty easy. So we'll give you a demo with Maven for damage. I should just be able to get her to phase instantly right here at the start. Just hit her with a couple R's and then an E. R, R. I can only have one. Let's preload it. Not an instant phase, but that was pretty quick. Let's put you guys right there. Then we just weapon swap. Get our rage back. Repeat. With this guy. Actually, I probably shouldn't have put that in the middle. And he's done so. Weapon swap. Wait for her to pick her spot. Where are you going? Ow. That's not her. That's him. Why am I slowed? Why am I slowed? Why am I slowed? I barely got her to phase successfully there. I'm doing much better than I normally do, but probably just because my damage is so high. I'm just killing her. I walked right into that. I could have dodged it, maybe, but nah, I couldn't have. Nah, I was stuck. I had it coming from every direction. Where you at, lady? Oh shit, she's doing the memory game. I didn't see what the first one was. It was either here or here. And then I didn't pay attention for the rest. Oh, nope, it wasn't either of those. No. I hate the memory game when those things are spinning. I just don't think it's right. I always forget, and I'm more worried about not hitting the degen beams. It's really, I hate it so much. It's just not a fun thing for me. Okay, she's up here. I'm gonna have to weapon swap, war cry. Now she's way up there. I'll wait a little bit. We'll hang out here until she teleports a little closer to me. And then I can just, there, perfect. Then I can just focus on executing her. I didn't see what got me. Degen? I mean, really good visual clarity. Maybe it was dot. What the hell? That was totally what it was. It was dun, 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 dun. Oh, it doesn't matter. I didn't see it. Okay, weapon swap is so awkward. Okay, weapon swap. I don't need to work right till I go in. 2 portals left. She just did a memory game. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? I wouldn't say easy, but I'm not good at the fight. I got it done. I have 6 portals for a reason. I live that berserker life. You worth anything this league? 15 chaos, that's not too bad. You worth anything this league? 59 chaos, that's not too bad. Alright, let's do some fun stuff now. We got the Maven out of the way. Let's do just some of these jabronis. I think I need each one of these. Barron is going to be the hardest, and I hate him the most. We will do some Barron. I hate him so much. Less accuracy. Oh, I am not doing increased area of effect on that boss. Oh my gosh. So bad on those rolls. There we go. That's pretty nice. The energy shield is a little bit rough, but it should be fine. Oh, another piece of cool tech. Watch this, watch this. Intimidating Cry. Right now it's at a 3.28 cooldown. And then it goes to 3.7. Put this bad boy on there. 2.9. If I had another Awakened Enhance, oh, that would be sick. And another thing we can do, because its cooldown recovery is the special sauce. We put that there and there, and the war cry goes down to 2.17 seconds. We are getting a lot of cooldown recovery here. 256% increased cooldown recovery rate. That is really fast. Now, I'm not going to run that because I'm using it in here, but, you know, if you want to build the general cry build and cry as much as possible, this might be a good body armor. Assuming you're not going strength stacking. Strength stacking is obviously going to be the strongest choice, but if you're not going strength stacking, this should work. Alright, let's map it up. Do some good old atoll here. Oh. Brought weapon swap, war cry, get me maxed out. You gotta get me juiced. Are we gonna see some blight? If I can ever click on her. I'm too fast for my own good. Start the blight encounter. Paper DPS is 417,000. And the good thing about this is when you're inverting resistances, it really is good for bossing. And since I'm doing enough damage to map really easy, bossing damage is very important. And you saw me fighting the Maven. Obviously I didn't perform well fighting the Maven. I'm not good at the mechanics, and I can never do the final memory game. But the damage was good enough. I can get through it. Definitely not going to run that kind of content if I have to level up at any time, but I can get through it. Speaking of which, I probably ought to level up. Leveling up all depends on, what type of content I run. Let's get my war cry on. Oh, never mind. I already had 100 rage. I thought I berserked, but I didn't. I mean, I can berserk, but this side usually is emptier than the other side, so it's not really worth it usually. I like to berserk on enemy. Well, I should have berserked there because I hate that kind of enemy. I only use Herald of Ash for the explosions. It has nice effects. It does a little bit of damage. You'd be better off with Flesh and Stone and staying in Sand Stance, so you have evasion and take reduced damage from ranged. But I don't actually die that much playing this. I don't know why. Don't know if it's I don't know. So let's drop, berserk, and melt away. Just melt. Forgot I was fighting another boss after this boss. The damage is really good. It is really good, and I know it's really good because I compared it to other skills, and it just benefits so much from the quality. It's excellent. This is excellent. The playstyle is really fun too. I was able to kill him before he was able to do his big attack. You can't really ask for better damage than that. You can, but they're going to be a kind of a greedy little asshole if you think that, killing a boss before he gets to hit you is not enough damage. And that's what happens when you talk and forget to switch to weapon swap. Don't talk while trying to weapon swap. I kept hitting Z instead of X. Yeah, weapon swap's a big issue with me. I don't really see my keyboard, and I usually don't use my left hand at all. I usually just play one-handed all my builds. The more one-handed the build, the better the build. All the way through. So weapon swap, get my rage. Ooh, gotta love those regrets. Done enough. Let's just go run in here. Now the playstyle, aside from when you weapon swap to get rage, is for the most part one hand. You put your leap slam on your thumb button, your blade of uncertainty on your right click, your war cry on your left click, and my left hand can be wherever my left hand wants to be. If you really wanted to get crazy, you could put Berserk on cast when damage taken. So you just kind of constantly apply the berserk. But that's too much hassle for me. I don't mind weapon swapping after I berserk on a boss. You saw me just berserk on that boss. It wrecked him. Yeah, wrecked him. And while mapping, it looks like I'm doing a little bit less, but on the right kind of map, ooh, man. They follow you in all those blade storms, they get wrecked. Let's see if I have the right kind of map. Actually, that dinosaur that I just got is the right kind of map, I believe. I'll run a dinosaur. Yeah, that's great. I think this is the one that's straight. I know alleyways would be good, but I don't think alleyways is here this time. It's the one with the wooden planks. I always forget what it's called. It's like waterways would be pretty good, I think. Okay, see, when they follow you, those blade storms, they just stick around. I'm just gonna pop in and see if there's a boss. And I'll do one just because, you know, this is really good for this kind of content. This build's perfect for it. I'm not even gonna use Berserk. You see those 9 stacks going. And it's awesome that it switches between sand and blood. Then sometimes you throw them and sometimes you keep them still. And the playstyle is just excellent. You just run and you sand throw. You can go a little faster. I don't have a movement speed flask because I find that this is just as fast as I want to be. I don't want to go any faster than this. I'm an old man. I don't want to get all moving too quick. And this is for me real nice cozy pace. Now this build is like begging for a mage blood. And I have Awaken Enhance level 5 and I'm leveling up a second one and I'm gonna corrupt it. If I get another 5, those guys are like 80 divine. And Mage Blood's pretty cheap. I think they're like 160 divine. So let's price this guy out. Yeah, so if I hit it, once it's leveled up, if I hit it, that's halfway to a Mage Blood. But this build is begging for a Mage Blood. 1, because of that Wise Oak, right? It's already set up for a Wise Oak. And 2, I'm using a Replica Abyssus, so I take an extra elemental damage. And I could put a Fire Flask, an Ice Flask, and a Lightning Flask in there. And, ooh, man, I can get this pretty tanky. If I do say so myself, using a Mage Blood. Which is kind of a dumb thing to say, because of course you're going to be pretty tanky using a Mage Blood or using a Mage Blood. But, this is going to be good content. So, you click on this bad boy. Berserk. And you just berserk around. Throwing these little tornadoes. Mana burn. And I didn't read any of the mods. Probably a pretty dangerous mod in there. But I don't like to read. And since I don't like to read, guess what I don't do? I don't read. Why would I read? I'd rather re-walk this whole area than to read each one of those mods. Ugh. Can't think of something more boring than reading all the mods on that thing. It's a little tight on socket pressure because of all the auras I'm using. And you do a little bit of range because it's doing both sand and the other one. And you get bonuses for being in them. But I might be on the spectrum or just fully retarded. For some reason, because Bladestorm says 90% more damage with bleeding, it just irks me to use it with elemental damage. I don't know why. I feel like I'm losing on synergy points. But stacking this guy 9 times for a bleed build doesn't make any sense. the most amount of bleed stacks you can get is 8. So doing this for bleed would just be lame. But doing it for poison would be pretty good. Actually, it wouldn't be that lame for bleed if you're doing pure fizz and you only have like 15% chance to... Oh, fire damage on the ground. As I said, replica, abyssus, burning ground. Really got to pay attention to it. I don't pay attention to anything when I play, and whenever I see loot, I like to go pick it up. So when there's a bunch of burning ground on my loot, I will die 100% of the time. I'm like a monkey. I see that loot. I'm a monkey loot. Man, that's a good name. Monkey D. Looty. Oh, Monkey D. Looty. Oh man, that is my next character name. Monkey D. Looting. It is so good. I've obviously been watching One Piece. I'm on episode 1.5 billion. Every episode's 1.5 minutes. You get, 7 minutes of recap at the beginning. Then you get, 20 minutes of them just staring at each other while the screens pause and then they're screaming. And then you get 2 minutes of really good either character development. Action's not that great in that scene, but it's got good characters. Character development's like 10 out of 10 on that bad boy. Pacing is a 0 out of 10. I've never watched a show with pacing this bad. They don't have fillers because every episode is a filler. It takes so long. It might even just feel that way because they have so many different characters. So anytime something happens, it has to split to each character to get each character's perspective. That's pre-game. Oh, I took that like a champ. As a berserk, taking 10% more damage. Oh, fire on the ground though. Does this ever go away? I'm not going to be able to survive. There we go. It went away. Let's try to find a fun map now. We got a couple bosses in our belt. We already did an atoll. I think it's actually like the first one. Channel. I think it's Channel. Yeah. I don't remember the maps very well, obviously. I'm going to run a -10 resistances because this will be pretty much the most dangerous thing I can get. If they had resistance reduce and then accuracy would be most... Oh, but no, I want to show how cool the build is, so I don't really want to die. I'll do that on a different one. It's good to know. It's good to see someone play the weaknesses of the build. And because I'm using replica boosters, okay, I might sound like a crazy person. I swear to Jesus, this game scans your build for what it won't be good at. I can't do no leech. I can't do negative resistances. I don't have immunity, so all damage ignites is rough. I use evasion, so increased accuracy is terrible. Pair that with boss attack speed, and then I have spell suppress cap. It took everything that hurts me and put it in this one map. And it does that so frequently. And these type of mods, I was not getting. I mean, I never got, monsters have it. Okay, I get all those all the time. I get all of those all the time. I don't know what I know exactly what I'm smoking, but yeah, that should be fine, right? It's a little rough with the extra damage lightning, but everything else is, yeah, that's really nice. All right, let's put some sex on these maps. I'm getting a little high on my sex count. Let's do some red. No, let's do one of these. Yeah, you can see me. You see me hopping that Aztec temple, tear shit up. Now, I was originally playing this with Lacerate, and I liked it. But this is so much better than Lacerate. Lacerate's fun, but this is like a legitimate build here. I don't even think it's that expensive either. I don't think that elemental sword is that pricey this league. I mean, obviously it's pricey if you're poor and just starting out. I think it's like 3 divine. I got this one for 1 because I bought it very early because I knew I was going to be using it, and I knew it was probably going to go up in price. So the very first one I found, I bought for 1 divine. It was fine. Sometimes it opens the portals, other times it doesn't. I'm gonna berserk. Yeah, it's good for this content too, because they can follow you. Oh, I needed to use my stone. I need to read these though, because I want to try to figure out how to get double corrupts out of these. I've never really read them. I just go in, I click them. I don't think I played that league, so I didn't learn the mechanic when the league happens. And a lot of times, if I didn't play the league and I didn't learn the mechanic when the league happens, I just kind of ignore that mechanic for a while. Ooh, perfect. Let's show this guy who's boss. Is he corrupted? Oh, I don't have any of my corrupts with me. Alright. Drop, berserk, click. Oh, so lovely. And the best thing about this is you have to pick up these essences, right? So you can, your berserk timer goes down, and then you're back up. Yeah, that weapon swap was pretty nice. There was a guy in my chat talking all up about it. And, you know, I didn't think it was that great because I had my Rage Cleave, which was just recharging it so much faster. And I do hate weapon swapping, but once you get used to it, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice just to instantly go up to maximum. Oh, and the fact that you can get it on your jewels. Like, I don't have to... I want to grab the Warcry node because it is pretty strong. But I just have it directly on one of my jewels. And if I hit P instead of O... 5 Warcries grant 5 rage per 5 power when you have less than 25 rage. So you could do this on... You can get that full rage recharge on a Slayer, which I do think this build is just screaming for a Slayer to play it. Just absolutely screaming for a Slayer to play it. But a Berserker is actually not that bad of a choice. A Slayer is a better choice for the crit node that it gets. It changes your base crit. Let's play a little faster. I'm not good at playing fast, so when you see me playing fast, if you're saying, hey, that's a little fast, then know that if you're playing it, you can probably go much quicker than me. I'll scan for a boss. I normally do these. I'm spec'd into this mechanic. It's really good for rolling the axe that I'm trying to roll. I was feeling kind of sad that I didn't roll maces. I started with swords and axes, so a lot of my gear is centered around swords and axes. So I can't taste a lot of the... I can't test a lot of the mace stuff. And one of the ones that's been irking me to not be able to test is the ground slam. I'm going to be doing like 120% more damage with all that increased quality. I mean, you can see, I'm not really dying. I'm not taking a lot of hits because I'm blinding everybody. And I got Grace on. It may seem like my evasion's pretty low, but blind is so powerful. Yeah, while mapping, I'm in like 71 evasion. But this wasn't the map I was thinking about. I mean, this map is great for this kind of a build. But there's one that's a little bit better. He just melted. He just melted. This is an official build. This is good enough to be meta. Easily good enough to be meta. I mean, I'm barely rocking the build. I'm barely being efficient. And my damage is just solid. This is a really good build. Alright, I'm gonna do a little bit of pricing, just so you can see the price of stuff. Let's get rid of my total deeps, elemental deeps, just to get the cheapest. So bare bones, you can get this guy for 40C. 2 divine, that's about what you're gonna pay for that. 9 chaos, come on guys. I got a really good one, rolled one, so let's do a 41. Yeah. Oh. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, if you're not greedy, that's super cheap. Ash to the Star was 15. You don't have to go all the way, but it's better to go all the way. I think you go to 28 and you're fine. Because enhance, you want to get a even number. Then you won't need 28. You can go all the way down to 22% quality. Because you want to get even numbers on these bad boys, on a lot of them, because 20% quality will give you 1 extra. See, so 20% quality give you 1 extra, so you want to go up in increments of 20 every single time. So you can just plan it out that way. And this one goes to 48. So because we have a 20, a 48, a 30, and a 30, this being 48 doesn't add any benefit, because it doesn't get you to the next 20. So you can kind of cater it a little bit like that. These guys are really cheap. I have a really high roll on the elemental resistance. I paid 50C for it, but if you don't care about it, you can get it for 15. And you really can just double up on these rings. 15, 15. This guy's going to be pretty pricey just because it's a nice ring. It has that lightning damage on it. Oh yeah, you're probably not even going to be able to price this out. Okay, it's not that expensive. The lightning damage makes it pretty expensive. These are really good boots. You're not going to want to be able to afford these bad boys just because they're pretty slick. You got life, you got movement speed. And the stun and evasion, that's kind of a dead note. The spell suppress is top of the line. Lightning res is good enough. And then the intelligence is important. I don't think this belt is the best belt for this build. I don't really know what is besides Mage Blood. And obviously I can't afford Mage Blood just yet. I rarely ever buy Mage Blood because there's just so many other builds I can do. Let's run this Cortex. Is this a good one? Nope. Resistances suck. I like to keep good ones of gear like that. Let's melt this guy. I'm guessing you can get this build cooking for, like, really good for 10 divine. Yeah, I think you can get it cooking really good for 10 divine. And I kind of don't really count the 6-link body armors, because the way I play, I reuse my 6-link body armors across the board, so I typically already have it. Now, if you're starting from scratch and you don't already have a 6-linker, then yeah, you can count it. But I always like to, in my head, just if it's a unique body armor, you can kind of, you know, wash some of that cost off. And I say that because there's a lot of ways to 6-link your own body armors for pretty cheap. Or you can go a little ham and get the +1 to skills. But that's probably pricey. I am actually curious, so I'm going to check that out real quick. Corrupted, yes. Search. Price. Oh man, +2 to duration, +1 to sockets, +2 to AoE, +1 to sockets. Oh, these are hot. 2 to projectiles, 2 to AoE. But we're going to want +1 to all skill gems. The cheapest one is 29 divine. It's really worth it because it's going to pump up that Awaken Enhance 1 more level, which is just crazy talk. Crazy talk. And I let my rage drop, so now I gotta Drop it all the way. And let's do this. I mean, that's damage. That is damage. And there's just a lot more you can do. Like, I'm not even really brutalizing the war cries, because I can exert. If you look at my exert, I'm exerting 3 of these. My war cry speed's pretty quick, so over half of my attacks are exerted. So I can, you know, buy that Flesh and Flame Jewel to give me the Berserk node. Or hell, I can go to a Juggernaut and grab those Berserk nodes there. I've been thinking about going to a Juggernaut, maybe leveling up. I could level up if I play Cautious as a Berserker, but it's just a little harder. Especially doing the map content that I'm doing. So the map content I'm doing requires me to fight those bosses. It's part of the whole strategy. I do 10 regular maps, then I fight the boss, and then I run through a loop of all these regular ones, and then I fight the boss. And when I say fight the boss, I mean Maven Invitation. And those Maven Invitations can get kind of nasty sometimes if you're not cautious, because in those Maven Invitations, I do like to pop Berserk. And if I don't get them all cleared, and then I gotta do a weapon swap, I just end up fucking up and dying. That's one thing that's actually really important to this game, is understanding like what you like to do and what you're good at doing, what's gonna make you happy while you're playing the game. And one thing that doesn't make me happy is playing Ubers. So I just don't do the Uber content. My channel suffers for it, because I bet you guys want to see this attempt an Uber. But nah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't enjoy. Okay. Oh wow, that's good attack speed, that's good cast speed, dog shit movement speed, and what do we got? Regenerate 3% of mana per second, recover 5% of life when you block. What the hell? I don't think I've ever seen this mana one. Oh damn. For the right person, that is excellent. Like a hyper regen that needs mana regen and stuff. I'll pop it up there. I'll give someone a steal at 2 divines. Okay, let's do just a little bit more content. I don't want to go running for too long. We always got to do a Drox. He got that big Cox. Thought I wasn't going to say it, but it had to be said. It's a true statement that's truth beyond ages. Yeah, he's going to avoid some poison impelled bleed. I don't really do that. Yeah, this is nice. Got a good roll to it. Let's throw some sex on the palette. Oh, I don't think sex even matters to this. Right? Oh, maybe it does. I don't care. Let's do some Red Beast. Now this guy's pretty hot too, because I have quite a bit of physical damage that I'm getting from my Rage Belt, and I'm doing a lot of elemental damage, so I'm getting quite a bit of extra chaos damage. Cold Lightning, does it even... Oh, I gotta pop it. So let's hit the Rage Board, hit the War Cry, let's pop the Flask. Cold Lightning, Chaos, 3,000 Chaos damage. So it is adding a pretty good block of Chaos damage there. Obviously doesn't compare to my Lightning. And as we saw, one of the skills that was doing more damage than my current setup, obviously Awaken Elemental damage, but that's like 80 divines right now. But another one was Volatility. And I really like Volatility support. I think it'll be good to put it on. I don't have one leveled up. It's the main reason I don't use one. I think it's the right move, because with Volatility support, you're gonna get bigger shocks. So you're gonna get some surprise additional damage in there. Like I'm shocking these guys. Nothing that big. And then once I 6-link my sword, I could actually use Lacerate of Butchering or this skill in a general cry setup. And that'll be totally fine. Totally easy to do. Just 6-link a general cry in the weapon. 6-link this here. I'm gonna have to drop a bunch of auras and stuff like that. But it can be good. Instead of using, you know, Herald of Ice, I could throw on Determination or something like that and just use some expensive auras. I can make up for the socket loss. Easy. Oh, there's a red beast over here. See, it's a chill build. It's real chill. You just run around, you drop your thing, you just kind of scan the thing, scan the map. And if you can handle movement speed, you get your movement speed flask going. Okay, I'm not going to pop Berserk on this guy. I did it last time and he melted. So I'm going to do it with just Ancestral War Chief. Charge it up. And get dead. I think it was Burning Ground or Ignite. Yeah, Burning Ground. Elemental damage, man. Elemental damage. Should have popped that Berserk. The Essence are such weird enemies to play around. Because you never know what you're going to get. Or maybe you do know what you're going to get, but I never know what I'm going to get. If I pop an Essence, I don't know if it's going to be the hardest monster in the game. If it's going to make Maven look like a clown show, or if it's just going to instantly die and not really do anything. I never know on Essence. Sometimes those Essence mods are just wild. Another good thing about this build. Right now it's not doing physical split, but just a little while ago when I was playing it, it had, you know, a pretty good amount of physical damage as well. So I could do any immunities. Downside of that is both Reflect Fizz and Elemental will kill me. But the positive side is that I can handle any immunity. I mean, I can handle, yeah, any of the immunities that the enemies might have. So for Expedition, when you throw your bombs, you don't even need to read if there's any immunities, because I do cold, I do lightning, and I was doing physical at the time. But right now I'm doing mostly lightning and cold and a splash of fire. Splash of fire is just to ignite the enemies to get that extra damage. I'm pretty sure you can ignite enemies with low fire damage. So once these enemies get ignited, they take way more damage. These are bad boys. These are bad boys. I think they have the thing where I can't dodge their hits. Not worth, not worth. Get my recharge on. Well, they also have Petrified Blood, which I don't have immunity to, but I do have the Pantheon where I can only get 5 on me. Oh, and again, I'm only 94. There's 6 more levels people can get while playing this build. 6 more levels. You're going to get a lot of defenses, a lot of damage. Those last few levels you get from like 90 to 100 feel like the most impactful level ups. Like every level up feels so much better than the ones before it, in my opinion. I don't know why I don't... Well, I know why I don't level up to 100, because it's fucking boring. It's not that boring, but mindlessly grinding. Oh, this is a great boss. It's got all these phases, so you want to have enough damage so you only have to berserk on this big guy. Actually, I'm doing so much damage I don't even need a berserk on him. I don't need to berserk on anyone. I'm taking damage over time. I'm taking damage over time. This boss is a nightmare for me usually, but this build handles it all right. All right, Warlord, I'm gonna put you in the floor as quickly as possible. Are you ready? I casted those a little early, didn't I? Couldn't see his health. I should have stood above him. That was lame. Well, I got the W. I think this video is probably about an hour long so far, so we are done. How did you guys like Bladestorm? I like it a lot. It's a really cozy skill. It's laid back, and you get a lot of these Bladestorms up. 9 of them. And they all overlap. And you get bonuses for being in them. And it's not that expensive. This setup is not that expensive. And you know what? I guarantee this isn't the best setup. This sword is awesome because it allows you to use elemental damage without having to worry about any penetration. Penetration's nice. It's always nice. In fact, you could probably even use Trinity in here, but I don't care. I don't like to do I think Trinity is probably the best option. Now that I think about it. What is my split? Lightning is a little too high because I'm using Wrath. Cold isn't going to overtake it that frequently. Yeah, that's too much work. I'd have to switch to Anger. I can't use Hatred because I don't have enough physical damage. Only real physical damage I'm getting is here, which is a lot of damage. It's like 75% increased damage, some shit. 75% increased physical damage. Plus the rage. But again, I don't know if that's the best belt. Okay, anything else I want to cover? We got the POB I'll be putting in the comments. If you guys are still here, you know. Thank you for watching my channel. I mostly do it because I just have fun building this shit and throwing it out there, but if you guys enjoy it too, I'll just keep throwing this shit out there. I'm already playing the game, I might as well just hit record and talk some bullshit. I'll go over some of the downsides of this build. Obviously, some elemental damage can get you pretty quick. I think spell suppression is mandatory because of this increased elemental damage. Most spells are elemental damage. In my opinion, spell suppression is mandatory. And this little block plus spell suppression is lucky. And then just get it on a couple pieces, maxed out. It will get you capped. At 78 spell suppression with lucky chances spell suppress. Statistically, that's about 100%. In real life, you're gonna get that bad luck. There's a roulette strategy where if you lose, you always double your bet. And if you play that strategy forever, you will always end up winning over the house, which is why when you go to the roulette table, you'll see a minimum bet and a maximum bet. Because if they're rigging their roulette wheel and all you do is do red or black, and if you just do black 100% of the time, and let's say you put $5 on black and you lose, the next round you put $10 on black, you lose, the next round you put $20 on black, you lose, next round you put $40 on black, then 80, then 160, and you just keep doubling it. And then when you win, you obviously took back all that money you lost, and then you just start over at the minimum bet again. And you just keep going up and up and up, doubling your bet every single time. And the reason that will always win is because if you have enough money to always double your bet, doubling your bet is going to cover that initial loss, which is why they put a maximum bet. So if you go to a table and it's got a maximum bet of, you know, 1,500, and you keep doubling your bet, eventually you're going to not be able to double your bet anymore, and you're going to lose all that money. I don't recommend doing this strategy because of the upper limit. Last time I went to Vegas, the minimum bet, I was in some of the nicer hotels. I think I was in the Wynn. The minimum bet for a roulette table is $25. So if you're doubling your bet, before long, you're going to be at the maximum, and you're not going to be able to do that strategy. I did it on the automatic roulette wheel, and I lost 9 times in a row on a 48% chance, and I'm pretty sure it's right. I mean, statistically, you can lose 9 coin flips in a row, but it's just not that likely. I don't even know why I brought that up. I'm done with this. I will check you guys later. Oh, yeah. Later, dudes.